Hi, this is Ryan Clark, founder and CEO of Clark College Funding and author of the book, College Aid for Middle Class America. And today I want to share with you a tool that I use with my families that helps them keep organized through this very stressful time of application and financial aid season. So it's extremely important that you do keep very important dates and make sure you are taking care of all the things that you need to take care of and not miss any important things, because it's very easy to do, especially if you're applying to multiple colleges, which I suggest that you do. So let's walk through this really quickly, this college organizer that I've developed. So first, of course, we have the college name. That's fairly self-explanatory. And beside that, I have the website login and username and password for the college's website. That's important because a lot of times you're going to be logging on to the college's website to either apply or to track the progress of your application or to receive your financial aid award letters from the spring of the senior year. It's really easy to forget those passwords and usernames, so we want to keep track of those. Next, we want to know about your visits, when you plan on visiting, or if you've already visited. Again, this just gives you an idea of the colleges you've already seen, and maybe the ones you need to put on your calendar over the next few months. Again, don't get stressed out if you haven't got all your visits in before your applications. My suggestion is, if you find colleges that are a good fit socially and academically and financially, everything looks great, the numbers look great, but you just haven't had a chance to visit yet, I would go ahead and complete the application, give yourself a chance, and then later in the year, once you get your acceptance letters, maybe even after you get your award letter, go back and visit these schools. Again, you have until May 1st to make that decision. Next, we want to know, how are you applying, or what type of application are you applying to? Are you applying as an early action student or an early decision student or a regular or rolling admission student? And if you don't know the difference between early action and early decision, you really need to. Early decision means that you are obligated to attend that school if that school accepts you. So essentially, you waive your right to attend any other school if you apply as an early decision student. On the application, it'll ask you, do you want to apply for early decision? And it gives you a little stipulation there usually. Tells you what that means, and you say, yes, I want to do that. And you have to apply fairly early. Usually it's in mid to early November, depending on the school. And they will let you know early if you've been accepted or not. But again, you are obligated if it's an early decision application. Now, if it's early action, you still apply early, and you will find out if you have been accepted at that college early. But the difference between early action and early decision is you're not obligated to go to that school. You just find out if you've been accepted to that school or not. So I would encourage you to apply as early action. Now, rolling admissions means that you're not applying for early action or early decision, and they're just going to let you know as they get your application. So if you apply in December, they might get to your application in January. They're not committing themselves to a particular date to let you know if you've been accepted or not. How are you going to apply? Are you going to use the college's own application? Are you going to use the common application? Are you going to use the College Foundation of North Carolina? If you live in North Carolina, it's kind of like our own common application website, where you can apply to any colleges in North Carolina online using the same application. You can also use Apply Web. It's very similar to common application as well. So you want to keep track of that. Deadline dates, so application dates. So if you're applying to early action at one school, you want to put the deadline dates down. If you're applying a roll-in admission at another school, you want to put, January 1st, December 15th, or whatever it may be on this, so you can make sure you keep track of those dates. And a little helpful hint, I would move my deadline dates 2 weeks prior than the regular deadline date. And that just forces you to get it done ahead of time. And it gives you some time to review everything before you actually submit it. I had a student a few years ago, throughout his application, he'd already submitted it. He brought it by for me to take a look at it. When I looked at it, instead of writing college, he wrote collage throughout his application. Easy thing to do if you're just not paying attention and you're going through it really quick. Again, just give yourself a time to check over and review your application. Any fees? How much does it cost? We want to put that here. Have you completed it? This is a nice little thing to pat yourself on the back, say, yes, I have completed it. I would suggest putting yes, no here. Once you get things done, you can pat yourself on the back and say, yep, I've checked this off, I'm done. But you also want to make sure that your high school transcripts have been sent and have been received. So in some cases, you can go to the college's website and they will let you know, hey, I have received this. If it's a larger state schools, usually they have that capability. If you're dealing with smaller private schools, it might be something where you're just going to have to call and say, hey, have you received everything that you need? I have had students in the past that were waiting and waiting and waiting and haven't received any word from the college if they've been accepted or not. And I said, hey, you need to call. And they did call the school and found out that they were missing something. In this particular student's case, the transcript was never received. The high school said they sent it. I mean, who knows where it got lost, but the school said, the college said they never received it. So again, it's up to the parents and students to make sure you follow up and make sure they've received everything. You also want to make sure that you sent the SAT scores or the ACT scores. I don't know if I would send both. I would send the better of the two. So compare the scores, whichever one you did better on, that's the one I would submit. You also want to check to see if any of these colleges require SAT-2 subject-based test. Your elite private colleges, if you will, now require SAT-2 subject-based test. They are for a particular subject, and some colleges require 1, some require 3. Some colleges will tell you exactly which ones to take. So you just need to figure that out depending on which colleges you apply to. Next, essays. Again, some colleges require essays, some colleges do not require essays. The Common Application does have an essay. I think it's 6 different prompts now that you can choose, or you can write on a subject of your own. And then some colleges, in addition to the Common Application essay, here's our essay prompts. Okay, so you want to make sure you know which colleges require which essays, and again, when are they due? Letters of recommendation. Again, some colleges require them, some do not. The ones that do require them, they will tell you who they want the letter of recommendation from. Some colleges require letter of recommendations from their counselors, some from teachers. College asks for the parent to send in a letter of recommendation. Next, honors programs, scholarships, deadlines. If you're applying to honors programs, and I suggest all of you try to get into a college where you're in the honors programs, some colleges have a separate application for that. Some colleges don't. Okay, so you need to know if they require a separate application. If so, when does that due, and when do I need to get those out? Financial aid forms. Don't forget about the financial aid forms. Financial aid forms are extremely, extremely important. And I know many of you are thinking that, oh my gosh, I just make too much money. What's the point of filling out these forms? Again, if you listen to my recommendations, you have to fill out these financial aid forms. If you want to get any type of merit-based aid, any need-based aid, any of the college's own money, the first requirement is to complete the financial aid forms. And by the way, there are 3 different types of financial aid forms. There is the FAFSA form, the free application for federal student aid. Secondly, we have what's called the CSS profile form, which is used primarily by some private schools, but we do have a few state schools that use the CSS profile form in addition to the FAFSA form. And then some colleges said, you know what, we're just going to make up our own financial aid form. So you got to know which colleges require which forms. So, for example, right down the road, UNC Chapel Hill requires the FAFSA form as well as the CSS profile form, where NC State requires the FAFSA form in their own financial aid form, and the University of North Carolina at Charlotte just requires the FAFSA form. So that kind of gives you an idea of what you're dealing with here. So you got to know which forms they require, and of course you want to know the due dates. It is certainly your obligation to make sure you send in these forms prior to the due date, because if you miss the date, that's it. No financial aid this year. So give yourself a chance. And of course, there's a miscellaneous section. And I'm sure I've missed something on here that we should put on here. So I would encourage you to put your comments below and to let me know what needs to be added on here to make this better for everyone. Feel free to download this as well. And please give me your feedback. So thank you very much. I look forward to hearing about your success.